Hey guys, this is Kumar here. Uh, some of you have asked me questions about my wizard, so I just made this video just to like answer some basic questions, like what my gear is and how I do Inferno and stuff like that. So it's just a simple video. I don't think I've ever done a video before, so go easy on me. So this is basically my gear. That's my weapon. Basically a really high damage, uh, slow two-hander. That's my boots. Main thing is you need 12 movement speed. That's really important for kiting. All my other gears are like things I look out for is high intelligence, obviously. But right now I'm trying to build a more crit-based build. So I'm trying to get as much gear with as much crit chance and crit damage as possible. So yeah, I'm still upgrading my gear. Since the nerf, I'm moving away from attack speed and to crit. So it's not the best gear, but it gives you kind of a simple idea. Top 3 things you're gonna need to look out for is obviously crit chance, crit damage, and intelligence. Vitality is obviously important, but not as important as the other 3 stats. So that's my gear. With it fully buffed, as you can see, I'm at like 54,000 DPS. My crit is at like almost 20%, and crit damage is like 244. Ideally, I would like my crit chance to be somewhere around 30%. Crit damage is about 200 plus is pretty good. My resistance, as you see, is not much. I'm a glass cannon. HP is about 18,000. That's about it. Um, when you look at my skills, I moved away from the whole Blizzard Hydra build, which was good, but after the nerf, I just want to try something different. So I'm using Arcane Hydra. You can still use Venom Hydra, but I use Arcane for a reason, which is I have the passive, which um, slows whenever you deal arcane damage, so that actually helps when your Hydra does arcane damage, and it's pretty standard stuff like teleport. You can either go fracture or wormhole, um, force weapon, force armor. That's pretty standard. My arcane orb, as you saw just now, I'm using tap the source. You can switch that with either celestial orb or obliteration, but I prefer to have the source because it uses doesn't use up my mana that fast. And yeah, that's basically my skill. Let's go kill some stuff. I'll show you how I play this character. So main thing about this build is you do crit for a lot when you do crit, which is with this current build, I think I crit low end is about 140,000, high end is about 240,000. When I don't crit, obviously my damage isn't that high, but it's still high enough for me to kill stuff in Act 3 Inferno. Um, Basically, as a wizard, I don't want to get hit, so all I do is just stay as far back as possible and just kill shit. As you see, I can pretty much one shot some of the mobs or 2 or 3 shots some of the mobs, depending on my crits. So if I get it up to like 30%, I'll be critting way more, and I can like 1 to 2 shot most things in Act 3. As you can also see that it's important for me to keep my force armor up, because without it I'll probably die with a I'll get one-shotted by pretty much everything. Everything will one-shot me. Anyway, Another downside to this build is reflect damage mobs like this one I'm fighting here. As you can see, they're not really hitting me most of the time. The ones that's really damaging me is the reflect damage, because every time I crit, the damage reflects back to me like a crazy amount. So that's why my staff, I made sure there's life steal on it, so that I get some of the life back. That way it's easier for me to mitigate the damage that I get from reflect damage. Otherwise, it's pretty easy. All you do is just, you know, stutter step, shoot, run a few steps, shoot, run a few steps, and the crits just basically destroy pretty much any mob. Just keep safe distance and just launch those arcane orbs, and yeah, your Hydra doesn't do that much damage. It's just basically there to keep them slow. So, and your main damage obviously comes from your arcane orb. And yeah, I think that's the basics. Yeah, and the drops are shit, but yeah, that's basically how you play this class. And so I'm just gonna show you guys how I kill a bunch of champion or elite mobs, just so you guys see how I play generally. I generally farm Act 3 because I feel the loot drops obviously are the same as Act 4, but the mob is slightly weaker than Act 4, so I prefer Act 3. And Act 3 generally has wide open spaces like the battlefields here, so you have a lot of place to kite. Kiting obviously is important for like Wizard and Demon Hunter. We need a lot of places to kite, so it's very good. I think melee classes may not prefer like this, but definitely you guys can try like the keeps, which is like close quarters, keep things close. Here's another mob. I was lucky enough to pull this guy away by himself without his ads. He kills me once, I think, because I get cocky and I stop focusing. But the thing you need to watch out for this guy is that tentacle over there. That thing is really fast, and if you get too close and you don't realize that he's dropping that tentacle into the ground, he will pretty much kill me in like half a second, which you're about to see in a few seconds time. Basically it's pretty easy. I mean, all you gotta do is just, you know, stay on your guard, keep a safe distance, and just launch arcane orbs at mobs and they will drop pretty fast. I would even say this build has more DPS than there you go, I died. This build has more DPS than the average Wizard, Blizzard and Venom Hydra build. Obviously that build is safer because I think Blizzard is a better kiting skill. It has a more stable and constant slope rather than this build, where you're only depending on your passive, which is like a 30% slow for 2 seconds every time you deal your arcane damage on them. But I feel that the damage that you do compensates, because you kill them that much faster, so you don't have to kite them around for that much longer. So I feel it's much easier. It's a work in progress. I think when I do finish this build, I think I want to be looking at like 300,000 crits at least from the math that I worked out. I should be critting at least like once every 3 or 4 hits, and critting for upwards of 300,000, or maybe the lowest is about 240,000. So I should be able to like one shot most creeps in Act 3 and Act 4. Of course I gotta watch out for the reflect damage, which will probably one shot. I'll probably kill myself if I crit too much. So I have to watch out for that. But other than that, it's pretty easy. This is another elite. Um, as you see, I just kite and just shoot and stay as far back as possible. Keep my Hydra up to slow them down, and just pop diamond skin or teleport when I need it. And yeah, it's pretty easy. I just kill them pretty easily. I would say I had much more trouble with this kind of packs when I was playing Blizzard Venom Hydra, because the damage requires them to stand still, because like your Venom Hydra does more damage if the mob is standing still, which, let's face it, most mobs never stand still, they're always moving. So this, I feel, is much more efficient. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say, so enjoy the rest of the video. Hope you learned something. Thank you.